Today I'm going to go through some back lever progressions. We're going to go all the way to a straight body position and hold that with control. But we're going to start off with the skin the cat and just check that you can do that. I recommend if you're going to work towards the back lever position, you can pull from the hang position to inverted with straight arms, pass through the back lever, go into the German hang and pull back out again with control. If you can't do that, I'd definitely include that in your training. You could do some pauses, you could do some work in the back lever, but as a priority, I'd try and work that straight arm, full range of motion movement. Now, I'd highly recommend when you're doing the back lever work that you set a video up or have someone standing level with the rings and they can give you feedback to where your hips are relative to your shoulders. So the first goal is just to pull yourself into a back lever and lower the hips in line with the shoulders for a 10-second hold. So nice tight tuck position, hat might come off, and then we hold there, 10 seconds. Now ideally at the end of the 10 seconds, you pull back out again with straight arms to come back down. So we're getting that opposite side of the movement. Now check your video back, check you're in the right position. I recommend you do this quite a bit to start with because it's very common we have the hip either very high or have the hip very, very low. We want to try and get that hip in line with the shoulders all the time. If not, we're going to sag in different positions and we're not going to condition the right position, and it just doesn't look so cool when you stick it on the gram. Now in terms of progressions, it's pretty simple. I like to start people in this tight tuck position, and then all we're going to start to do is move the knees away from the chest. So this distance between the knees and the chest gets greater, the heels stay at the butt. That's going to increase the lever arm. So the first one, same as the planche, you would start in a tight tuck position, then you open out to an advanced tuck or a flat back tuck. So exactly the same, see if you can pull up with straight arms through to that same position, flat back, so knees more in line with hips. Again, 5 to 10 second hold. Ideally, come back out again through that front lever pull. Now once we have that position, so we've done this tight tuck, we've gone into this flat back position where the knees are in line with the hips, I would then go to a frog. Now when you go with the frog, just make sure that you don't do this. You want to make sure the knees stay in line with the hips or go a little bit further away and the legs go out. That's taking us towards straddle and it's taking more weight in that direction. So exactly the same, enter through the tuck into that position, open out into your froggy position. So hips ideally will be in line with shoulders. Back in, back round, hat comes on. Next we have the half lay position. Now the half lay position is when we have the knees fully open, so no close in the hip, so into this position. So I'm going to have the hip fully open, but I'm going to have my toes behind me. Now some people would argue that straddle's slightly easier than the half lay, some people would say it's slightly harder. You just got to have a play with both of them. Ideally, open hip is of most importance, and some people will be really stuck with this closed hip position, and that's where that half lay position can be very good, but it will also be very hard for a lot of people. And you'll see for me, I'm not going to hold a conversation so much in this position because we're now getting to the harder variations. So pull up, half lay, oh, that's harder to pull back out. Now there's 3 more variations that a lot of people use. Now a common one is the single leg position, so you have one leg straight, you have one knee in. I'm not a big fan of this position because it's a very closed hip position still and really makes people squeeze in with that hip flexor. And I personally didn't use it on my road to a full back lever. I prefer to use that half lay, the straddle, and then the full position. Now with the straddle, we've got a couple of variations. We can be in a straddle like this and have the hip closed, so a high hip straddle position. Ideally with our straddles, we'll have open hip, so like that. So I don't have a hip crease. That's what I'm going to try and do now. And again, I'd have to check the camera there because I'm not sure I was in the correct position height-wise, and also I might have had a bit of hip flexion. In terms of program, I would find a variation where you can hit around the 8 to 10 seconds mark for sets. And then that's where you do your working sets. And then from there on, I would play with shorter time in harder variations. So if you're going to like straddle or back lever, full back lever position, I would then go to like 5-second holds, 3 to 5 seconds just to test the position, with the goal eventually of doing 10-second holds in the full position. Okay, let's try 10 seconds in the full back lever position now. So let me know if you have any questions on the back lever. Reach out if you'd like some coaching or just want to have a chat. My website's www.paultwyman.com.au. And if you want to get stronger on the rings, here's muscle up and here's skin the cat.